some rowing, camera rowing, and let's have a nice walk and talk.
Yes, when I started this journey, I used to say, when I see a landfill, I see a gold mine. ECONYL is a nylon polymer, perfectly identical of the one coming from petroleum, but using a very special technology, which is regenerating nylon waste. Can you imagine that from this fishing net, you can make this parka? Amazing, isn't it? Every single component is made with recycled nylon. Buttons, you can see zippers, ropes. ECONYL is a beautiful nylon, but with a very different story. Nylon is used because of its performances. So you can make active sportwear or jackets or swimwear, but synthetic fibers, they are representing a problem because they derive from petroleum and are basically non-recyclable, all possibly single-time recyclable. At the end, they are finishing in landfill or into incineration. The textile industry is consuming more than 100 million tons per year of fibers. Nylon is one of the biggest ones. Clearly, we have to change these trajectories. ECONYL is returning to the original building blocks with a chemical system which doesn't take new resources from the planet, so we start entirely from waste. It is doing this with a very low carbon footprint, between 70 to 90% lower CO2 emissions. We approached the fashion industry proposing to make products in a different way. When we started this, they all laughed at us. It was a big challenge to develop the technology. Other people have tried, even large chemical giants, but they miserably failed. Aquafil is collecting or buying not only fishing nets, but also garments or carpets. We are collecting waste that normally the plastic industry doesn't like to recycle. When we are taking back an aquaculture net, fishing nets, there is a lot of water inside. In an aquaculture net, you have anti-fouling agents like copper-based materials. We need mechanically to remove these agents from the fishing net. Remove the sand, remove any organic debris. We like to explain the ECONYL process with a description of 4 steps. The first step is rescuing waste, collecting them, sorting. Once you finally have your waste here in Slovenia, here is when the process starts. There is a mechanical part, which is grinding and helping to separate different kind of materials, and then you enter into the chemical step. Once you have a pure monomer, well, at this point, you start with remaking nylon and you don't need to change anything. And then the 4th step is our customers. They have to reimagine how they are making products to help us to recover them at the end of use. So we are continuously introducing solutions for our customers, like, for example, ECONYL in the form of pellets for molding buttons or for making zippers, or in the form of yarns for making sewing threads. ECONYL is infinitely recyclable, giving endless possibilities to designers and engineers, and with a very low carbon footprint. When Aquafil is separating byproducts, we try always not to landfill them. If it is copper-based, we send them for recycling, and we get copper that, instead of being mined, it's used for different applications like agriculture. When we are separating a carpet, normally you have the fillers that are going for road construction or for cement production, and other synthetics like polypropylene that is going for plastic recycling. We have now finally started also to make new yarns for making new fishing nets. So really approaching also circularly the fishing industry. Step by step, scaling up our process, we have continuously reduced our cost and we will become cost competitive. Identical to, let's say, the petrochemical nylon products, this will largely depend on how brands are going to make products in the future. Because if they make them with the end in mind, so more easily recyclable, this cost will dramatically decrease. We can remake a fishing net, or we can make a carpet, or we can make a plastic part. And this is doable infinitely. So you really don't need to take materials from the planet every time you're making a new product, but you just have to take them once.